I'm still, after all the fights you've had, in awe of the fact that you do what you do. It's mind-blowing to me.
Thank you, man. Yeah. I mean, it's not that hard to get your beat, but it was a great experience. Like, I learned a lot in there. I can't really talk.
First announced, you had said something to the effect of this would end Jake Paul's career. After what you saw tonight, do you think that Jake should continue to box, or what do you think the future holds for him?
Yeah, no, I really take my hat off. I mean, we have to see if it is a broken jaw. Those injuries are very difficult to come back from. But as AJ said, like that last shot would have knocked out a lot of heavyweights.
Jake Paul has reportedly announced his retirement from boxing after suffering a devastating 6th-round knockout loss to former heavyweight world champion Anthony Joshua in Miami, a bout that also resulted in a double broken jaw requiring surgery. At just 28 years old, Paul entered the fight as a crossover attraction, hoping to solidify his credibility in professional boxing. However, Joshua's thunderous right hand abruptly ended the contest and sparked serious debate about Paul's future in the sport.
I won 2 rounds
For sure.
and then he won 2, and then I got dropped. But yeah, I was doing good. I just think my cardio, just the mental pressure of the big guy and sparring the big people is different than the 10-ounce gloves. So I was feeling his power a lot more. But it was a great experience. Like, I learned a lot in there. I can't really
Are you in pain?
Yeah, but
Does it hurt?
it's not from like talking.
Talk to me about what your jaw feels like, because you got
It's like a baseball in there.
two
and then
plates?
It just feels like
4 titanium plates?
4 titanium plates. How many do you have?
Just 1.
8 screws. 8 screws.
Wait, all right, I got plate in my head.
Paul has allegedly admitted that he's grown weary of absorbing heavy punishment inside the ring and is now seriously considering stepping away from boxing following the brutal knockout loss. During the fight, Paul was knocked down multiple times before sustaining a double broken jaw that required surgery. Taking that level of damage against one of boxing's most accomplished heavyweights has only intensified speculation surrounding whether Paul should continue his career.
Tiring from boxing. I'm getting hit in the fucking face every single day while I could be playing soccer in Saudi. I'm friends with the Saudis slash football.
Back in the day?
I was on the A team in 7th grade. I have a really good kick. I can run fast, and I'll knock out everyone that with us.
Yeah.
Please give me $1 billion.
Meanwhile, Eddie Hearn stood by his earlier prediction but adopted a noticeably more serious tone after the fight, reflecting on his statement that the bout could potentially end Jake Paul's career. Hearn said the outcome unfortunately validated his concerns. He explained that injuries such as a broken jaw aren't just physically painful, but mentally taxing and difficult to recover from, especially for a fighter still developing at the highest level. Hearn pointed out that extended time away from sparring, fear of re-injury, and loss of rhythm can permanently derail a boxer's progress. While he praised Paul's toughness and willingness to compete, Hearn emphasized that boxing is unforgiving, and moments like this often force fighters to question whether the risk is worth it.
Follow it too, because when this fight was first announced, you had said something to the effect of this would end Jake Paul's career. After what you saw tonight, do you think that Jake should continue to box, or what do you think the future holds for him?
Yeah, no, I really take my hat off. I mean, we have to see if it is a broken jaw. Those injuries are very difficult to come back from. But as AJ said, like that last shot would have knocked out a lot of heavyweights. And I know he went down heavy, but you know, he was conscious on the floor. And I thought his game plan, although obviously very negative early on, which it had to be, was smart at times. And there were times where he held his feet and let his hands go. You know, it was a very one-sided fight. It was always going to be a one-sided fight. But you can't give him anything but credit and respect. There's a lot of negative people out there. There's a lot of people who want to criticize people. They're not doing what Jake Paul's done. He just went in with Anthony Joshua and gave it his best shot. Took a lot of punishment and ended the fight eventually.
For INTER VIEW UFC commentator and podcast host Joe Rogan also delivered a serious and cautionary response after Jake Paul was knocked out by Anthony Joshua and suffered a double broken jaw. Rogan urged the influencer-turned-boxer to seriously consider the long-term consequences of continuing his boxing career. He stressed that the punishment Paul absorbed, particularly from a seasoned heavyweight like Joshua, carries risks far beyond the immediate injury. Rogan warned that there's often a long-term price fighters pay that simply isn't worth it. including severe health effects many experience after retirement. He described the knockout punch as having the impact of 10 punches at once, showing how quickly damage can accumulate in the ring. Rogan made it clear his message wasn't just about this fight, but a broader warning about repeated high-level punishment.
That guy did great for someone who's been boxing for like less than a decade. He has had no real professional opponents other than Tommy Fury that were legitimate world-class boxers.
I don't even remember what happened in the Tommy.
He lost a close decision, but it was a good fight. It was a good fight, though. He's a good boxer. If he wasn't a YouTuber, people would be way more impressed with him.
Yeah.
The problem is he was like a famous kid, and then no one took him seriously.
Yeah.
But
and then he started too with like more spectacle-ish fights. People were like, "Oh, this is you." He fought, Nate Robinson, like a basketball player.
But the thing is, he knocked Nate Robinson
knocked him the
dead.
fuck out,
And
yeah.
it's the way he did it that I was trying to tell people. I'm like, no.
Paul has also reportedly suggested that he may consider running a cycle of steroids to silence long-standing accusations that he has previously used performance-enhancing drugs. According to online discussions and secondhand claims, Paul allegedly said that visibly changing his physique would prove his past performances were natural. Critics have slammed the statement as reckless and inflammatory, while supporters argue Paul is simply responding to years of speculation surrounding his physical transformation and punching power. Given boxing's strict anti-doping regulations and the severe penalties tied to use, many observers remain cautious and urge fans not to take the claims seriously until Paul addresses it directly on record. As of now, the statement remains unverified, adding yet another layer of controversy to an already turbulent chapter in his career.
That I'm a cokehead. My rebuttal to that was, I'll tell you what, you can test me randomly for the next 5 years for if I can test you randomly for performance enhancing the next 2 years, and I never got a response on that.
This is why Jake Paul is on PEDs. Within this past year, Jake Paul has literally hit a second puberty and aged like 10 years. Furthermore, he has acne and his hairline is receding like crazy. And people like Jake Paul are going to the best skin doctors in the world and probably are taking hair loss products that aren't even approved for the rest of us. Now, I'm not saying that Jake Paul necessarily took a steroid to make him look bigger, but he's definitely taking something that allows him to recover faster. That way he's able to train.
TRVIEW UFC legend Anderson Silva publicly came to Jake Paul's defense following the high-profile loss to Anthony Joshua, stating that Paul deserves respect for stepping into the ring with such a dangerous opponent. Silva noted that Paul has proven he's willing to face legitimate challenges, rather than padded matchups, and simply agreeing to fight a former heavyweight world champion should earn recognition from fight fans. According to Silva, critics who once claimed Paul avoided elite competition can no longer make that argument after he faced an opponent of Joshua's caliber, regardless of the final result.
Damn. I don't say that only because I'm fight here in a company, but it's because Jake, the people need to respect Jake, I mean, every single fight go inside the ring, everybody need respect.
Anthony Joshua brutally fractured Jake Paul's jaw during their heavyweight bout in Miami when a crushing right hand landed in the 6th round, forcing a knockdown and ultimately ending the fight by knockout. The punch broke Paul's jaw into places, a severe injury that was immediately apparent and later confirmed by Paul himself through post-fight images. After the contest, Paul was transported to a hospital where surgeons performed corrective surgery, installing the titanium plates on each side of his jaw and removing several teeth in the process. Paul later shared an update stating the surgery was successful and that he would be restricted to a liquid diet for approximately 1 week during recovery.
Give a monkeys about what anyone says because they sit at home, they're full of negativity. It's like the people that are negative towards someone like Jake Paul. Look at what he's done with his life. Do you know what I mean? So yes, it took AJ a couple of rounds to get hold of him and then he knocked him spark out and broke his jaw. Frustrating 2-3 rounds maybe because Jake was moving so much, holding, but did well, I thought. I mean, I was impressed with him. I mean, I was more impressed with toughness because I think that last shot would have knocked out most heavyweights. I respect him because he did what many people wouldn't do, which was get in the ring with him. And, it didn't, I know he run and hold, but he also let his hands go at times. And he was in the firing line and, we got 6 good rounds in the end of actual
Is that how
work.
you see it in the end?
Yeah, I actually think it's a positive because, we could have gone in there and got it all over with 45 seconds. He's done an 8-week camp and now he's done 6 rounds. He's got something to go back and work on with a team. And on
Brutal 6th round knockout of Jake Paul by Anthony Joshua made it clear the fight was legitimate and not scripted. despite widespread online speculation suggesting otherwise. Promoter Eddie Hearn firmly dismissed claims that the bout was fixed, emphasizing that it was a fully sanctioned professional fight regulated by boxing authorities and tied to legal betting markets, making any staged outcome illegal and unrealistic. Hearn also pointed to the seriousness of Paul's double jaw fracture, an injury requiring surgery, as undeniable proof that the fight was real, stating plainly that injuries like that simply cannot be faked.
Got a broken jaw in 2 different places, and when they zoomed in on his mouth inside after the fight, a row of his teeth had just been dislodged into a whole nother fucking section of his mouth. Whatever you think of Jake Paul, surely that now puts an end to the fixed fight narrative. Like, his mouth is in bits. This was not a fixed fight. No matter how much you dislike it, it was what it was. So how did he do? Well, on the one hand, Jake fucking Paul, the YouTube guy who started by fighting Deji, getting in a ring with AJ is just impressive to start off with. He made it 6 rounds, and when he was getting hurt, he kept getting up and he showed heart. You know, it probably would have been easy to stay down and not get your teeth shoved into your fucking back of your head. And a lot of people are saying, look, he lasted longer than Francis Ngannou, so that's something. But why did he last longer than Francis Ngannou? Obviously, I think we all know why. Francis Ngannou came into the ring with the belief he could win. He was trying to win from the first bell. Jake Paul was more trying to survive and hope that like a miracle happens in the fight sometime. And when you've got those completely different states of mind, it delivers completely different results, right? Francis is right there in front of you. He's trying to hurt you. He's committing. He's leaving openings because he's committing. The other guy is halfway across the fucking ring. And when one guy isn't wanting to engage, it's really hard to pin them down and hurt them because they're not basically contributing to the sport. You know, we're supposed to be fighting each other, not, you know, you running away from me and me having to run after you. And we've seen this before in other boxing matches. It just makes it a very difficult night for the guy who's trying to be the aggressor, especially when you've got a ring that big and the guy who you're